In the grand theater of life, we all seek a comeback, a resurgence, a rekindling of our inner fire. But how do we spark that flame? Welcome to Reignite Resilience. This is not just another podcast. This is a journey, a venture into the heart of human spirit, the power of resilience, and the art of reigniting our passions.
Welcome back to another episode of Reignite Resilience. I am your co-host, Natalie Davis, and I am so excited to be back with you all. Pam, how's it going today?
No, it's absolutely fabulous. I'm excited because we've got another guest with us today. And I'm excited about this one because it's really outside of our normal. And so I'm really excited just to learn a little bit more about this guest. So yeah, I'm excited to dive in.
I know. I feel like today is the day that everyone, let's just say it, get your pens out, prepare yourself. I'm sure that I'm going to learn a ton and I'm looking forward to it as well. So just to give you all a heads up, our special guest today, Evgeny, he has built and is completely wired differently. He's a father of 4, including twins. And he has mastered the art of remaining unflappable in the face of adversity. That is a huge statement in and of itself.
That's huge.
It is huge. In his career, it began as him being on the technical front lines as a firewall deployment engineer, and has evolved into the vice president of architecture, which is leaps and strides ahead of where he was. And his journey has provided him with a panoramic view of cybersecurity, showcasing his ability to navigate and lead across all of its domains. He's also in the works and process of finalizing the details of an up-and-coming book that will be released here soon, Unlock the Power of Soft Skills. Evgeny, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing really well and very, very happy to be here today. I have my pen as well here. You maybe don't see it, but I'm very ready to write notes and provide ideas as well.
I love that. Well, I love the fact that you're planning to take notes because I've got my pen and I'm planning to take notes also. Quite an impressive bio and being unflappable in the face of adversity. That's a huge statement. Kind of introduce yourself to our listeners and tell them about yourself.
By trade, I'm a very, very technical person. I've been in technology like a geek for 30 years, probably longer than I remember myself. I learned electronics in high school. I later on spent 5 years in the Navy in Israel, where also was doing electronics and technology. Later on, I spent quite a lot of time in cybersecurity, designing and architecting quite big networks for big companies in Canada, in the US, and Europe as well. What I realized for the last probably 10 years is that what we have in our mind is very, very important. But if we struggle to output our ideas and our maybe genius ideas to other people that don't really understand what we do day by day in a very common language, then it doesn't matter how smart we are.
That's right.
We need to be able to connect and kind of maybe go lower, maybe go higher, left, right, depend on the person we are talking to adjust to the levels they understand, to adjust to the acronyms, to the understanding they do. So in many cases, when I describe cybersecurity, I describe it as a house. We have different levels. We have a door, we have a window. What we do, we don't do. Do we teach our kids how to act in a park? Do we tell our kids what do we do and get lost? So as I associate what we do day by day, that's very familiar to majority of the people, to my professional world. What I also realize is I'm a second-time immigrant, so English is my third language, that it's not always easy to connect to people if your English or your accent is not perfect. So you need to start doing something else. You may be using hand gesture, maybe you're smiling, maybe you're putting almost like an act in a theater because you really, really playing the role. And you definitely, in my case, I believed in what I was saying.
Yeah.
And I realized that connecting to people in different levels actually work. I remember in one case, I was presenting in a very, very big company. And after I finished presenting, they're like, wow, you're very, very truly believe in what you're saying. If you believe in what you're suggesting, it feels us that we're going to be very comfortable in what's going to happen later on. So the entire idea of soft skills was kind of playing in a different angles, domains in my mind.
Right.
Earlier in my childhood, I read the book of Dale Carnegie, How to Connect to People, How to Connect, Find Friends and Influence People.
Yes.
And it stayed in my mind for a very, very long time.
Yes.
So this entire idea of soft skills and communication stick with me and slowly started to reshape the way I communicate, the way I talk, the way I connect to people. And during COVID, unfortunately, whatever happened. We cannot change this. But guess what? We moved to a different media. Mm-hmm. If you want to go and sell something to somebody else, cybersecurity, CRM system, a video system, you're not going to travel. You're going to probably make your first call over Zoom, Teams, Google Meets. So now the way we connect is changed, because while we have a physical meeting, we're probably not going to look on our screen. We're probably not going to look on our phone. We may glance on our watch. But right now, when you have multiple screens, I have 4 in my case, you never know what I do. Maybe I'm looking at this screen and say, yes, but I'm on my Facebook and you thinking I'm actually talking to you. Or maybe why am I talking to Evgeny here? But my camera is actually here. So I don't understand that I'm seeing your eyes, but in reality, you only see side of my face.
Yes.
And there's so many different examples of this. People assume, oh, I just have a very good camera in my laptop or good microphone in my laptop. So I'm going to spend 8-10 hours a day with my devices, and it's going to be fine. But it's not. Did you ever check it? Did you ever record it yourself to see how do you sound? Okay, I have a podcast. So you have a podcast as well. So we all know how we sound. It took me like 8 months to be comfortable to actually be okay with my voice. Mm-hmm. But it's not just the voice. Do I have filler words? Do I say too many times? Do I say yes, guess what? I did all of the things. And then I learned to figure out I can change it.
Yes.
Same if my back is hurting and I'm going to go to a doctor, I can actually go to a professional person that can teach voice and do voice development and realize what they can suggest to improve my voice. So I did voice training. I actually realized that I have a very, very low voice. I can do a very high voice, but there's nothing in the middle.
Okay, yes.
So it took 6 months to kind of align everything. So there's a couple of examples.
Absolutely. And this speaks to some of those soft skills that you, I'm sure, highlight in your book then. Is that correct?
Yes, some of them, there's definitely more examples. Happy to talk about them as well. There's hooks, there's ideas, there's basically a way to interact with people, because fundamentally, people want to talk. Some of them are more shy, some of them less shy. But if you create the right opportunity, they will talk. Why we all bond over alcohol? Because then we kind of relax, have a drink, and start talking.
Yes, that's huge.
I'm not suggesting to drink during day work. Don't get me
don't do that. It's so interesting because when you hear cybersecurity, the last thing I would think about would be soft skills. It just is, it's kind of like, oh, I'm going to have to talk to somebody. It's going to be recorded. I'm not going to understand what they're saying. I actually went onto your website and did the soft skills test that you have on your book launch page. I'm like, well, I got to do this now. So just so interesting that you have gone from you love technology to just taking it to that next level of learning how to have those soft skills with people, the communication, the piece of it, and the sales piece of it. Just incredible.
How was the quiz?
I got an 8. I don't know what that means.
You mean you did everything okay?
That means you won. You get a prize. Well, and that's where we spend a lot of our time, right? Like for Pam and I, we spend a lot of our time in that communication space, either face-to-face, voice-to-voice. We're constantly interacting and engaging with people. So it makes sense that you knock it out of the park, Pam.
Yeah. It's just, but not everybody does this all the time. Yeah. So I love that. So tell us a little bit about this book. So is this helping people gain those soft skills for communication and working with people?
There's a couple of things in the book. When I was starting to write the book, I was thinking what kind of a book I want to write. Majority of the books right now are 250 pages, 300 pages. And they're like, I never read after 100 pages, I'm done. Like I cannot read. It's a novel, yes, but educational books, can you just get to the point? So when I started to write, I told my editor, I don't want a long book. I don't want to write about what I did last summer and how I went to smell the flowers. It's like, you don't have to. It's like, yes. Like, yeah, we can have a book with 120 pages. I'm like, oh, okay. So basically, every chapter is about 1,500, 2,000 words. So the entire book is 120 pages. And every chapter is relatively short and small. So basically, opening the idea, explaining why it's important. I am providing examples from my personal life. I also went and interviewed my friends that I work with. My first idea was to go and find big celebrities to interview them. But then I realized, why would I do that? Why not interview people I work with them for ages? And I partner with them. I deliver presentations with them. I deliver consulting with them. And we play this game of soft skills. And let's give you some example. When you work as a team, you don't know all the answers, and it's totally fine. But you kind of want to keep the peace. You want to make sure the customer is engaged. So if the customers ask you a question and you don't know the answer, your team player will understand that you need time. So they will take over and start talking to a customer about something else, or maybe asking them more questions. And it will give you a time to kind of thinking, understanding how you want to answer. And then when you're ready, you take over and you answer. From a customer perspective, it's all fluid versus, hey, I have this question. How can you answer this? I don't know, but let me get back to you. You just kill the vibe. You just kill the entire conversation. While there's a play to do it together with your team. So I interview my friends, about 7 of them, and I have the interviews. I will post it later on the website. But also I'm putting some examples in the book, not just from how I see it, how they see it as well. Some of the people there are CTOs, some of the people are salespeople. There's a variety of folks there as well. But every chapter kind of say it almost like a bridge or building blocks. If you have a bridge and you have pillars, every chapter is a pillar. And if you master the chapter, the bridge will be higher, 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 and higher. Or going to be more building blocks. So I'm not saying, oh, if you master the way of asking questions, for example, because there's a chapter about how to ask questions. Do I want to open question or do I want to close question? If I ask you, Pam, do you prefer color blue or white? I don't know which color you prefer. Just an example. This is pretty much a closed question. You can tell me, no, I like orange, for example. Or I can ask, hey, if you can choose a color, which color would you choose and why? So now I need to explain. Now I need to go on this. Oh, how does color make you feel?
Yeah.
Why are you choosing this color? So there's different ways to ask. And again, it doesn't matter what we're selling right now. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. I can ask you, which car do you want? Do you want a mini one? Do you want a sports car? Or like, how are you going to use your car? What do you usually do with your car? Because I want the other person to talk. So the entire book is building in a way to give you examples and to give you ideas what to do and what not to do with some of the examples. And I hope to open your mind, because there's no way I can just read the book and become a master of soft skills. We always have this example of riding the bicycle. I can watch YouTube videos, I can read about it, but if I want to ride the bicycle, I have to go on the bicycle and start riding. May fall a couple of times, may scratch myself, but I can do it. One part that it's quite interesting in my mind, because we talk to people, how can you actually practice soft skills outside of work?
Yeah.
And one of the examples, and this is something I'm doing myself, is you don't have to do it at work. What's stopping you when you're standing in line? Ask somebody how you're doing. Ask somebody what you do. You're kind of stepping out of the comfort zone. But guess what? If they didn't answer, who cares? You don't even see them anymore.
Right.
But you can go on a different level. One of the things I'm always trying to do, and the kids hate me for this sometimes because they tell me I talk to everyone. If we're doing grocery and we do cashier, I will talk to the cashier person. They're working very hard. They're usually standing the entire time.
Yes.
So my idea is not just to talk to them. My idea is to make them smile. If I made them smile, then guess what? I won, but they also won because they're now smiling. So I improve their day by whatever it is,
Yes.
And there's many, many different examples how you can step out of the comfort zone and check things or check ideas of what you can do.
Wow. That's huge. And I love that you take it a step further, because it's when we talk about soft skills, it's not like you ever arrive and you've mastered them all. I know Pam got an 8 and that's great, but you're constantly learning and expanding that. And so even with the cashier example, it's not that you just want to practice your soft skills and have a conversation. Now you've set a bigger goal for yourself of making someone smile. And that's sometimes hard depending on the time of day that you're seeing that cashier. If they've been there for 8 hours, they don't want to smile. They are not excited to see you. But then if you can accomplish that goal, I think the same as if you're in a team environment, if you're with your coworkers, setting those goals, those small goals for yourselves, it's not that big of a deal. Can you make that person smile? Can you get them to have a better understanding of your viewpoint or your vantage point or what have you? It can transfer over to everything. And that's coming from that place of curiosity. As you talk about this, just constantly remembering it's not about me. Like if I make it about the other person and I'm curious about the other person and I look for that connection or that opportunity to connect, then that other person has a chance to talk and tell me more. And then maybe you uncover more things that you can connect with.
And you're absolutely right. Like, let's take something that they're doing day by day. Somebody knock on your door trying to sell you a vacuum cleaner or some kind of thing for the garage, whatever it is. And they start pitching you, look on my amazing vacuum cleaner, look on my amazing dishwasher detergent, or whatever it is. They never ask you, like, what do you do? Why do you even like it? Do you even hate? Some of them, of course, do. The smart ones do. But they're not trying to let you talk, to let you open up. And it's also an important part of active listening. And active listening is part of soft skills. This is the magical time when if you did something and the customer or the person start to talk, close your mouth, shut up, and listen. And I know I'm very impatient. So I would just write stuff. I'll write stuff on Notepad because please, and like, no, they're talking. Be quiet.
Oh my
gosh, that's so good. But that's because you've been practicing. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Reignite Resilience. We hope that you had amazing ahas and takeaways. Remember to subscribe on your favorite streaming platform, like it and download the upcoming episodes. And if you know anyone in your life that is looking to continue to ignite their resilience, share it with them. We look forward to seeing you on our future episodes. And until then, continue to reignite that fire within your hearts.